Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here to bring you your weekly flesh and blood market update. Let's jump into it. Pretty quiet week overall, so this should be relatively quick. Crew is down 4.46% to 107 from 112. Not too much to really talk about with that. It just is what it is. Things are cooling post-pro. I think we'll see that pattern generally throughout. Moving on down to the first edition boxes, Crew here is down 6.72% to 652. Now, this is coming off of that crazy bubble. We talked about this some time back. When this 538 jumped to almost 900, I said then, this is insane. This is going to crash back, and it has been slowly crashing back. The real question, and we'll take a look at the chart, is does this maintain? We won't know for a couple weeks, but does this maintain over this previous kind of high area? If it does, if it stops at like 600 and reverses, we're in pretty good territory. It means we're moved to the next step. But we won't know that for a few weeks. We'll look at what it looks like and see where it lands from there. Monarch up 7.75% to 139 from 129. I suspect this will continue along the way. Essentially, Dusk Till Dawn is going to continue to provide hype. If you haven't seen it, Stackswell did a great overview, emergency update of individual cards that were impacted by the release of the Armory Kit. The Armory Kit included Vincent, Adult Image, we think, a weapon that uses life instead of resources to trigger and creates a rune chant, which is pretty cool, and an attack card that uses rune gating, or gives the rune gate keyword, I guess, which basically means for each rune chant you pay one less. I think only from Banished Zone. I could be wrong on that part, but generally speaking, rune chants equal resources if they're out on the field. New math, new access to calculate value on, which is pretty cool. I love it. So I think as we see more and more of these things come out, spoiler season coming up, all that sort of stuff, the hype will build, and Monarch is going to go a little crazy as we get closer, especially the first edition with the cold foils. Moving on, honorable mention, Tales of Aria down 4.71% to $81 from $85. Really nothing remarkable here. We've seen it bounce around in this area before. It's fine. Crew down 4.88% to $38.04 from $3,999. This was a jump up. It's a cooling. We'll see if it lands below this. I think it's fine. It's pretty much just sideways, kind of probably not even worth talking about. Mon, of course, case side, 6.32% up to $589. Same story as Mon case or boxes, so nothing too surprising there. I did want to call out, I am starting to track the pricing of D2D. I don't actually know, is that the code? What is it? What is the code? Anyone know what the code is? Give me a hashtag in the comments. Let me know what the code is for Dusk Till Dawn. I'm not sure if we've seen it yet, because I think everything's been promo, like LGS or Fab, code. I don't think they gave us the code yet, but I could be wrong. So anyways, yeah, start tracking that. We'll see how this pattern emerges. It is interesting to see $400 cases, $100 boxes. It's pre-order. I mean, it's not real numbers, but it'll be interesting to see how the pattern emerges of pre-order to release date. All right, I promised, I heard, I listened. Our audience asked that I review some cards, and so I'm going to review some cards. I think we can do this a couple times a week without too much trouble, as long as the market stays as crazy as it's been. All right, first thing I'm going to call out is this completely boss of a sale of Coronet Peak Uprising. Obviously, this is going out of favor. It will probably continue to fall in the short term, but I look at things as investments. I like to invest personally. None of this is financial advice, but when something is boring and not interesting and no one wants to deal with it or everyone wants to sell it, that's when I like to strike, right? You buy low, you sell high, you look for the things that people don't care about, and this market continually fluctuates between caring and not caring with all the classes and all the various talents and such. Ice is on the way out, especially Coronet Peak, which is really only used with Icelander. The Rainbow Foil is probably not the buy here. I would actually probably go with the Cold Foil, which is around $45. But it has come way down from its previous numbers, so I think across the board these are probably decent pickups, because someday this will hit again and it will be awesome again and you will want to use it again. I cannot imagine a world where Ice doesn't theme around blue. And I cannot imagine a world where getting rid of cards from people unless they pay isn't something you'll want to do. So that said, it is speculation only, and that is how it goes. Moving on. Thought this was an interesting one. Carrion Husk has dripped back down, particularly with Shadow Set coming out. I'm guessing people are now assuming that there'll be a new Shadow chess piece based on the image. Well, I know it's probably too recent to have a big impact on the market, but there's a recent image of Vincent as an adult, and she's got like this crazy, I don't know how to describe it, spiky armor thing. I don't know, whatever it is. And I'm guessing people will see it as a different type of Carrion Husk or Carrion Husk replacement. It probably is, because it would make more sense in theme than this. This fits not her style from what I can tell. So that said, could be wrong. Point being, this is at 180, and at a time not too long ago, it was selling for 210 range. So with that in mind, this is a pickup if you don't have it, if you need it in general. With the new set coming out, Rainbow Foil, Carrion Husk is just a beast of a card, and will be going into a Shadow Set, I imagine, going forward. That's the way I look at it. You do what's right for you. Next, Blood of Drakai. This is getting boring. No one cares about the Draconic Gym because it isn't that playable. Well, that's fine. It's still a frickin' Fable, and it's the first Fable of the new 2.0 sets. So, my guess is it will end up holding up better in the long run than the Fables of Everfest and Tales. So, just because of the amount of printing that was done. Cold foil came down to 195. Under 200 feels low, not criminally low. We'll wait to call that until another month or 2 or 3 when the next set is really happening. But I do suspect that this is going to get boring, and boring is a great place to buy. It was recently sold for 209, so you're already getting like a $15 discount from a recent sale, like not that long ago at all, the 7th, right, 10 days ago. So, and it was even more, oh, you can't see that, sorry. It was a 220 down here, even more a month ago. So just keep that in mind. These prices are sliding for this set, which means you might want to take a look at what this set ends up doing on other things, your Majestics and whatever else is going on, because it's the Uprising set itself is starting to get boring. Last one, and this one I'm like on the edge of. I don't have this Marvel yet. You guys all know I'm collecting the Marvels. It's the cheapest it's been in a long time, $74.80. It was selling for $80 the last time it sold, which was quite some time ago now, and that's why it's dropping, because people aren't buying it at $80. And it had gone up over $100 quite a bit. You're gonna do this again. Sorry, I have to keep moving this thing back and forth. So it was over 100, up to 110 in recent sales. So with that in mind, that's just where it goes. I think we're at a point where we're going to see Mechanologists get boring, at least for a little bit. I will say there might be some interesting counterplays that are out there with Dash, but I think we're in a dull zone for Dash. That's what it boils down to. And so this will probably continue to drop. I'm not pulling the trigger yet. I'm like really having a hard time deciding on that, because I really want it, and it is cheaper than it's been. But at the same time, it's like, it's probably going to get cheaper, right? So I think for now I'll hold off on it, but it is definitely on my list and what I am keeping an eye on. Watch, you all are going to go out there and buy all of them, aren't you? And then I'm going to look at it and be like, I have to pay $200 for this? Oh, dang it. I'll pay $200. Yeah, I will. I'm not joking. But in the meantime, hopefully I can get it for 74 or less. Back to the charts. Let's see what we got here. Did I mess up? I messed up the alignment really badly. Oh man, sorry guys. All right, so WTR. Let's see what we got here. Nothing. Yeah, actually we talked about how all these are quite boring. There's not much going on any of them. Pretty much at parity there. Mon's the one exception. Premium's intact, no ARB at all. Looks like that step ladder, and we'll see if it holds. Let me just look at crew real quick. Again, yeah, we don't really have the downward trend showing up here yet. That's in the first edition, so we'll take a look at. Tales of Aria, $1 ARB opportunity, nothing too special there. Keep it moving. Move over to first. All right, WTR. Oh man, WTR is boring as always. Nothing to really remark about down here because it's all kind of fake data. ARC, same sort of thing. Premiums intact. Moving on to Crew. This is the one I wanted to look at. Okay, so here's the chart. Here's the drift down. What we're hoping for is that it settles somewhere in this line and starts to go back up. Now, this premium gives me a hint that we will see this return up, like that this is beginning to get into an undervalued range because the case value is holding higher than the box value. So this is just like extra inventory kind of slothing off the market. When that goes away because someone needed the capital for something, the shelf space for something, you know how it goes. When that goes away, which it will, it's going to pop back up, and these case prices will probably well, they might drop down in the short term and then pop back up as that happens because people will buy cases to crack and sell boxes, etc. This does tend to follow, it seems, but you know, it's not exact science here because you can see what's happened here. But you can see what I mean. Here's how it's followed. This goes up and that shoots up. This goes up and that shoots up. They're kind of like in tandem-ish with a little bit of a delay on the case prices. So we'll see what happens in the next coming weeks. I do expect this to turn around before it hits here, but I could be wrong. Maybe it just keeps sinking down and this isn't a new level. It was just a crazy bubble because that we called this out as being crazy and it's going to come down, and coming down it is. A more healthy move would be here, which is why I think we're kind of close to the in price range, and then like move around in this range. That's what we see in the other charts that are healthier. This jump was way too high, way too fast, and didn't make sense. We called it out at the time, and it you know, it is what it is. We'll deal with it and ride the wave, but hopefully it doesn't crash below this previous kind of step up place, because if it does, then we're in unknown territory and it could sink really low again. It does happen. That's just chart and price action kind of formulation here. All right, on to Mon. Mon's always fun. Right now, at least it is. I love that check mark. That's beautiful. It's a good place to be. I did want to look at this a little closely. So we still have the premium intact. Let's just look. Let's show you the whole chart. Premium intact. The bottom is still in at well above the previous high. So I think we're solid on this. We'll see, because if we get doldrums right before release, which is something that can happen post-pro into a new set, we can look at a period where things get a little bit boring. The problem is this is a set that gets hyped by every single release of information for Dusk Till Dawn. If Dusk Till Dawn puts another card out, has a little leak, has a preview, has a news article, anything like that can start pushing these back up again. So I really don't think we're going to see below this price. So that said, keep an eye out. If you do see lows in this 120 to 130 range, that's a pretty good buy based on chart action and historic data. That Mon first edition around that price is just kind of a steal. It's kind of a steal. So steal it if you can. That's what I'd say. Tales of Aria, yeah, it's a goofy one. It's a goofy one. The premium's larger, but only because the box prices are dropping off. It does look stable, but this is our first real serious leg down. We had a previous little leg down, but now it's dropping. Let's see if it holds above the 70 range, then we'll feel like we're in more stable space, 75 range. If it doesn't, then we're back to just whatever madness Tales likes to do, because it does like to do it. I want to call this one out. Everfest is feeling like it's got a nice upward trajectory, like the supply and demand are meeting. Like Unlimited never got released, and like people are starting to realize that there's some value in these boxes. And again, I will shout out Staxwell. Go watch his content. He does some good stuff. One of the things he's been shouting from the rooftops, and I'm hearing it, is what I'm saying, is Everfest Majestics just go crazy when they go crazy, and they kind of hold their value, which I know is true. I've liked Everfest for a long time. I didn't like it for EV for the longest time because it wasn't the best EV, but I think what's happening is it's starting to become EV positive for the most part. Nothing's perfect because you're talking about sample sizes and, you know, however many boxes you're opening and such. But the fact is that the value of the box, the cards in the box are starting to grow, and therefore the box value has to grow as well. And so as long as they don't hit that unlimited button on us, I have a feeling this is going to continue to move up and to the right, and that when you get these dips, it's probably good times to buy if you haven't. $62 a box is rather cheap. Rather cheap for a box that could have serious value in it. Moving on to Uprising, our 2.0 box. It's doing the thing. Dollar arbitrage. Not much to really talk about on any of these. I feel like they're still in the unstable post-release territory for all of 2.0 because people don't really know what to expect, so they don't anticipate and move the market as much. And Dynasty and Outsider is really literally just in post-release. I like that bump, though. Look at that. Came down, did the hop. Now we're back down again. We'll see what happens with this. I think these will indicate waves after a period of time once we get some more detailed data over time. But we'll have to see how it plays out. Note, this is just map, right? Everything just holds at map for the most part. The under map stuff, I get, you know, what's funny? I wonder if LSS hits ban hammers on shops and causes a ruckus, sending a cease and desist and stuff. And maybe that's part of what makes these price actions happen. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about something like that happening in a long time. But we've seen a lot of below map sales. So maybe, well, I guess you can sell below map if you're just like an individual and stuff. So maybe that's what these are. These are just individuals that bought too much and they need the money now. Yeah, could be. Anyways, I hope you guys are out there cracking packs, playing games, enjoying this hobby that we love. Go steal my Hanabi blaster. It's fine. I will forgive you. And until next time, have a good one.